I grew up on the East Coast. I'm a U.S. Army combat veteran. I joined the Army when I was 17, right out of high school. Uh, did that for a number of years. Now I currently work as a law enforcement officer here in South Louisiana. I have been in Iraq and Afghanistan, been some other places around the world. Most of my military career was spent in the War on Terror period. Mostly women in bad decisions brought me to South Louisiana. My wife is a South Louisiana native, and they don't go far from home. So when I met Claire, my wife, it was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. She was living there and I was living there. It's a whole other planet down here, living down here from what I grew up in and what I'm used to. It has its pluses and its minuses. This is definitely a more rural environment that I'm accustomed to. It can be a little interesting. You know, people from South Louisiana are set in their ways, and big family events are a huge deal here. You know, everybody in South Louisiana is looking for any excuse to party. So that's life down here. It's awesome. There's certainly things I miss about home, but I'm perfectly happy living here. I was in Afghanistan 2009, 2010, and started thinking about getting involved in tactical training from the standpoint, purely selfish standpoint of, I don't want to travel to shoot with the people that are my friends that I think have a lot to offer. I want to bring them to me because I can't afford to go to them. So originally I started the company with the intent just to book trainers here so that I went to go see them, my friend Kyle Lamb at Viking Tactics, my friend Craig Douglas at ShivWorks, Mike Green at Green Ops, Ron Sable, the list goes on, Frank Proctor at Way of the Gun. I wanted to bring them out here so I didn't have to go to them. I also I have a medical background, both in the military and as a civilian paramedic, and I wanted to introduce some of the things that I think are important life-saving measures to the shooting community and to the civilian community at large. Learning how to apply a tourniquet is a skill that everybody should have, not just paramedics, not just nurses, not just soldiers. It's a skill everybody should have.
Mom should have that skill.
A mom should have it. Your kids should know how to do it. They should know where a tourniquet is in your house. It's absolutely life-saving. So I wanted to present that to that market. So I started out booking trainers. I started out doing our own organic medical class. And then I started adding what the market wanted. We do organic pistol classes, we do carbine classes, we do shotgun classes. I consider shooting and gunfighting to be the modern American martial art. It's what we do. We don't have a history of self-defense using empty hands or using farm implements like the Koreans do with Taekwondo and karate from Okinawa. From the time the first Americans got here, we were using guns, rifles and pistols. So that's what we spend most of our time doing now, is trying to shape and give our input on that American martial art. And I think I tell people all the time that an industry has jumped up and developed. The good part about that is there's more good training out there than ever before. And the downside is there's more training out there than ever before. There's trainers in every single community nationwide. It is up to the consumer to decide who the good trainers are and who the bad trainers are. And some of that requires experiential learning. But no matter where you're at across the country, there's a trainer in your area who's doing good work, who can make you a better shooter, who can prepare you to defend yourself, who can teach you how to apply that tourniquet. And if you're interested in this, you should seek it out. It's an amazing time. When I was growing up and things like martial arts were a big deal, there were some parts of the country that didn't have martial arts. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a huge deal now because of the UFC. Throughout the 90s, the only place you could get Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was in Los Angeles, right, where the Gracies were. Or Brazil. It wasn't nationwide. So if you lived in St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana, you could read magazines about it, you could get VHS cassettes, but you couldn't do it. Right. Well, with shooting, that's just not the case. If you like something you see on YouTube, you can do it in your community. And chances are you can do it better in your community because the people are there. We're born with the ability to eat, to poo, and to make babies. That's what, right? That's the God-given abilities we're born with. Everything else we do is a learned behavior, right? So being around guns your whole life doesn't prepare you for using a gun on your worst day to defend yourself. The person who says that and chooses to believe that is really fooling themselves. And you know what? I'm not saying that somebody who makes a living training people. I'm saying it as a wake-up call to you. It's not a viable excuse not to seek out training. It's a lie that you're choosing to believe. You know, nobody knows how to, under the best circumstances, trained people oftentimes don't perform as well as they would like to in gunfights. So untrained people are going to perform that much worse. You know, it's interesting. We have a phenomenon of, we have guys travel from all over the country and internationally to come here and shoot with our instructors. Increasingly, I've seen guys come with their wife. You know, she goes and spends the weekend shopping in New Orleans while you're here shooting, and everybody goes home having done what they really wanted to do. You got a break from each other. You both got to do something you like. You know, it's a win-win for everybody. So I wanted to do a women's only class taught by a woman because I think that, you know, my wife tells me I'm a terrible communicator and I don't explain things well enough. So I assume that that's probably common. I think that's, maybe a lot of women believe that about men. Maybe it's true, I don't know. But I thought maybe it would reduce some barriers to learning if a woman was presenting the material. So then the challenge was, I didn't want to do a sparkles and rhinestone dumbed down pistol class for women. I wanted to do a credible, real self-defense handgun class for women that if a man took it, he would learn something. You know, it wasn't dumbed down and pointless. And I went to Tatiana, and we were talking about it on the phone. I was driving, and she said, well, look, I just want to let you know I'm not doing ponies and pistols. It's going to be a real class. I said, well, great, because I'm not hosting ponies and pistols. We've done it a few times now. It's been a huge success. We're actually adding intermediate level this year, so she'll come out in November and do intermediate pistol for women. Women are the fastest growing demographic in shooting sports. Women are starting to figure out that your husband having a concealed carry permit, your husband carrying a gun, is only good when he's around. So there's no reason a woman can't do any of this. You know, we have women now taking almost every class there's at least a woman in, be it the advanced stuff we do with Viking Tactics, be it the concealed carry stuff we do with Mike Green at Green Ops, even in the combative stuff that we do with Craig Douglas, we're starting to see women show up. I think it's awesome. My wife is the reason that the company functions. Without her, you know, yeah, it would be a mess if I was in charge of it. But she's also a student. It took her a couple years to get over the, that sounds scary to me. And now she loves it. She's shooting on her own. She's got her niece involved in shooting. And it's, I mean, I think it's incredible. It definitely, there doesn't have to be a wall there. So the Future Advantage Group is, the Advantage Group is going to do some classes in Europe this year, which we're excited about for military and law enforcement agencies in Europe. That's exciting. We're going to continue to do our full schedule of stuff here in Louisiana, and we're going to add things and tweak things. This is it's been a great year for us. We're starting to see more and more new shooters coming out, which is great. We're also going to start doing some traveling regionally. We have some classes scheduled for Ruston, Louisiana, which is up in the north part of the state. A class scheduled for Olive something, Mississippi.
Olive Branch?
Olive Branch, Mississippi. So we'll be up there this year. And, you know, I can tell you, I don't really, I don't need Advantage Group to become a national brand where I'm on the road 300 days a year. It's not what I want it to be. But I want it to be something that regionally stands out and offers opportunities for anybody from anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country that wants world-class firearms training. You can come down here and get it in South Louisiana. So I think Trigger Time is a great platform for a lot of reasons. It presents real cutting edge information, real information, to a market that sees a lot of sizzle but very little steak via social media, YouTube, and the alternative media. Trigger Time is presenting real information from world-class trainers. That has always been the producer's prerogative, I guess, is that I don't want to do, if it's not real, we're not doing it. And so it's awesome that that exists, because there's plenty of other places you can go get dazzled by exhibition shooting, and it's not real. It's amazing the opportunity for me to interact with people that I look up to and that I've learned from, and now that I consider peers, and get them involved in this project. And I think that it's great. The sponsors are great. The material we're presenting is great. There's not a single person that participates in the show that I don't feel like is somebody that I would like to learn from. And to me, that's the highest compliment I can give them. The only month of the year that we don't train on the range is August in South Louisiana. And if you want to come down here and take a class in August, I'll put a special one on for you. Probably last about 45 minutes. Coming up this year, we have Frank Proctor coming in September, doing a pistol class and a carbine class. Frank's an alumnus of the show. Really unique perspective on things. It's like the Dalai Lama of combative shooting. He's great. He's a blast to train with, and there's a lot of good information there. We'll have Mike Green coming also in September. Mike at Green Ops does the best concealed carry class in the world. You'll shoot 1,800 rounds in 2 days, and every single draw will start from concealment. It's an incredible class. We have the Viking Tactics guys coming back to do their night fighter. We're the only open enrollment night fighter in the country in 2017. Will be here in South Louisiana. There's a stiff prerequisite, but if you meet it, that's available.
Another Trigger Time alumni,
Chili Palmer will probably be teaching that, I assume, with Kyle. So that's coming. Craig Douglas coming to do his ECQC program, which is, Craig's a local guy from Biloxi, so we try to get him over here a couple times a year. We bring William April, who is a clinical psychologist from New Orleans, who's done a lot of work on criminality, does a class called Unthinkable, which is based on better understanding victim selection and how you become a victim of a violent crime, which is a huge part of this. Is if you can remove yourself from the situation never happens. That's a way bigger win than winning a gunfight. So all that stuff's coming. It's all on our website at advantagegrouptraining.com. Facebook and Instagram, we're on both of them. We love feedback. If there's somebody you want to see, if there's something you want to see, let us know. If you're in the true South, as my friend Craig Douglas likes to call it, here in the Gulf South, Alabama, Mississippi, Eastern Texas, Arkansas, Florida Panhandle, and you want a class, you get us 10 shooters and a range to do it on, and we'll come to you, and we'll bring what we do to you, to include hosting guys. If you're in Pensacola and you want to bring Mike Green from Green Ops to Pensacola, let us know. We'll set it up. Give us a range, those 10 shooters. We'll get Mike out there to you. If you want to participate in the best firearms training in the world, go to advantagegrouptraining.com, and you can find it there.